the price of beef is hitting record highs. And now President Trump's new trade move, that's stirring up a storm for U.S. ranchers around the country. White House wants to bring in 4 times more Argentine beef to help lower grocery prices. But a lot of American ranchers are saying that plan could actually put them out of business. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association blasted this plan as misguided, warning it threatens rural livelihoods in this country. Republican lawmakers from cattle states urged President Trump to reconsider all this, saying they want market-based solutions. The president says ranchers just don't understand that his tariffs actually help them.
Joining us now is Steven Ebeling. He's a fifth-generation farmer and rancher in Plainview, Texas, to talk about what this could mean for producers and for consumers at the meat counter. Steven, thank you so much for being here. So do you understand the logic here about spending millions and millions of dollars to import beef from Argentina? Can we not produce enough here in the U.S.?
Well, first, I want to say thanks for having me on this morning. I think this is very important, and it's very much at the heart of American farmers and ranchers. I think if we step back and we look at what's going on right now, it's very easy to be disheartened, to think that we're being sold out by our administration, that in a time when American ranchers are finally starting to turn a profit and make a sound business out of this, that we kind of got a low blow there. And I think it's important as American producers that we remember that everything that we do relies on trade. And so sometimes in the short term, it can be very disheartening. We also have to remember, as cattle producers, many of our products do rely on export to bring the value to those animals. I personally, and this is a personal opinion, I don't know that the administration might have worded the tweet the way that I would have liked to. I think American farmers and ranchers work incredibly hard, and much of their success is due to their hard work and their diligence and their professionalism. I do understand what Donald Trump's trying to say, that these tariffs are important, right? But I think it comes down to pointing fingers never gets anything solved. We have to work together to do this.
The White House is saying that this is going to actually bring down prices for American families. Is that what you think the outcome will be?
Well, I think we have to first start off and realize that having groceries at an economical point in America is a pleasure that we have been very blessed with for decades, right? We're one of the only countries that has generation that hasn't truly starved to death. And so in many ways, we're very blessed. It's very easy to run I shouldn't say easy. It's much more civilized to run a government when your civilians are not starving to death. And so it's important to the U.S. government, right? It's a very complicated matter, and I think a lot of people think that it's just a checkerboard, right? If we import, our prices going down, and that's really not the case. It's very much a chess game with many moving parts that we're just a very small part of. And so, as I hope that we can keep grocery prices down, we have lots of Americans that need high quality, nutritious meals, but it's a very complex problem, I guess I should say.
No, I think that it is. And I don't think that most of us understand it. So, in layman's terms, Stephen, can you just tell us what else the administration could have done? What other solutions, besides importing Argentine beef, what would you have liked to have seen them try first?
Well, I think it's a solution that maybe we should have stepped into decades ago. I think they made the right step in looking at opening up federal grasslands. I think that's a two-pronged approach that's very beneficial to the U.S. I think not only does it allow us to produce more pounds of high-quality, safe beef here in the U.S., that not only stimulates our economy, but if we do that on those grasslands, if you look at the tax dollars that we spend each and every single year fighting wildfires, where we can take something that's an expense to the U.S. taxpayer and turn that into a benefit, I think that's a logical, common sense approach. Now, there's certain things as far as droughts that we just can't control as producers, but I think they're on the right path. I think there's going to be some growing pains in the process, but I think that's going to happen with anything.
Beyond this trade issue, are there other challenges that you and other ranchers are facing right now that you need people to understand or know about?
Well, I think the main thing is that we have to remember that production agriculture, we're a price taker, not a price setter when we're dealing with commodities. And so we truly rely on free trade and free markets, um, exports and imports to make our businesses work. We can work 100 hours a week, but when those things fall out of balance, it becomes very challenging. I will say that I don't think there's a person in the world that'll be better at facing adversity and finding a way through this than the American ag producer. This is what we do. This is what our livelihood is, and this is how we spend our entire life is looking at shortfalls and ways to find ways around it. So I feel very optimistic. I appreciate the administration looking into this. Do I wish it was handled a little bit different? Absolutely. But I also don't know all the details, and I think it's very important for us to remember before we bash people is that um, we don't know all the backroom dialogue that was going on. You never know. There might be something that's going on that we don't have the ability to know about. So I think it's very important to have faith in the dream of America. We live in the best country in the world. I've lived in other countries, and we will pledge allegiance to a country that feeds us if we're starving. And so I think that's very, very important for us to remember that the ability to go to the grocery store and buy safe, nutritious food that we can afford is a national security issue, and I think that's first and foremost.
Yeah, Stephen, we so appreciate your reasonable voice, your voice of reason here on Connecting America. We're always looking for solutions and connections. Here, very quickly, what's your message to President Trump if he's listening?
I just want to know that the American farmer and rancher is an incredibly hardworking individual. It's used to facing adversity. We appreciate looking into these tariffs, these imports, these exports. I don't think pointing fingers and sending off mean tweets has ever really solved anything, or it hasn't in my life. But I do appreciate the passion that he does go at things. I absolutely appreciate the fact that he finds it important that Brooke Rollins at USDA has looked into this. I think she's a very reasonable, intelligent, smart lady that will get to the bottom of this, and I trust her to find a good way to resolve this. And so, at the end of the day, I trust our government. As scary as that might sound, some days we still do live in one of the greatest countries, if not the greatest country in the world, and we're very blessed to be sitting here having this conversation. Our problems are very minuscule compared to many nations, and so we're very blessed to be Americans.
Wow. Stephen Ebeling, thank you very much for modeling such reasonableness. We really appreciate it. And obviously, we'll be watching this very closely.